The moment my internet died, I realized something worse than an outage was happening. At first, it was just a flicker, the kind of tiny hiccup you don't even notice. Then everything went black. Screens, modem lights, even the hum of my server rack. Gone. I tried to laugh it off, thought maybe the ISP was doing maintenance again. But then my phone buzzed nonstop. Neighbors, coworkers, even the local police station's line went dead. That's when I knew this wasn't some random outage. Something or someone had killed the entire network. When I stepped outside, I saw it. Police lights flashing down the street, neighbors gathering, shouting. And right there, at the center of it all, was her, Margaret Lane, our HOA president, watering her roses like nothing happened. But here's the thing. The main fiber line ran right under that rose garden, and when I followed the trail, I found it, sliced clean through. Like someone had taken a knife to the heart of the whole neighborhood. That was the moment it hit me. This wasn't an accident. This was sabotage, and the person who did it, she had no idea I was the one person in this town who could prove it. But let me start at the beginning. Before we dive in, let me know where you're listening from today. It started like any other Friday morning. Coffee in hand, soft jazz playing, and the quiet hum of my home office keeping me company. I run an online consulting business, so my entire day lives and dies by my internet connection. And for the last 3 years, that setup had been flawless, until that morning. 1 second, I was in the middle of a client call. The next, silence. The screen froze mid-sentence, my client's face locked in a digital grimace. Then everything blinked out. The little green lights on my router went dark. My monitors followed. Even my backup UPS, which had never failed me, went dead. It felt like my heart skipped a beat. Okay. Maybe it's just the ISP, I muttered, half to calm myself. I rebooted everything. Router, modem, even my backup power system. Nothing. No connection. No hum. Just dead air. Then came the texts. One from my assistant. Hey, the dashboard's down. Another from a client. We can't access the shared files. Did your server crash? I checked my server and the custom-built setup I affectionately called Lucy. She was offline entirely. I tried a hard reset. Nothing but a faint click. That's when the panic started creeping in. This wasn't just my internet. This was my livelihood. My business relied on uptime, and every passing minute meant lost revenue. By the time I realized my phone's data connection was throttled too, I started to feel like I was watching my digital life crumble in real time. But it wasn't just me. The neighborhood group chat started lighting up. Anyone else's Wi-Fi out? Phones too? Even my smart thermostat's dead. It was like the whole block had fallen into a black hole. Something wasn't right. When I say I've seen my fair share of outages, I mean it. I've worked in IT for over a decade. I know what a power surge looks like. I know what a bad modem can do, but this felt different. The outage wasn't random. It was targeted. I went to check the main junction box outside my garage, the one that connected Lucy to the fiber network. The panel door was slightly ajar. That wasn't normal. Inside, a section of cable was missing, not chewed, not frayed, cleanly cut. I froze. Who would even... It looked deliberate, almost surgical. Someone had known exactly where to slice. I followed the cable trail out toward the main line, trying to keep my brain from jumping to wild conclusions. My shoes crunched over gravel as I traced the path around the neighborhood loop, where the fiber conduit ran underground. Then I saw it. Fresh dirt, right near the property line of the one person who'd been complaining about all the tech clutter lately. Margaret Lane. HOA. President, the same woman who once told me my server fans were too noisy for a residential area. That's when my stomach dropped. Before I could even process what I'd found, my phone buzzed again. A push notification from the Silver Ridge HOA Facebook group Margaret had posted. Friendly reminder that homeowners are not permitted to run unlicensed business equipment from residential garages. Violations will result in immediate fines. And the timestamp? 20 minutes after the blackout began, I just stood there rereading it over and over. She couldn't be serious. Could she? The comments section was already a mess. Some neighbors were agreeing with her, blaming all that internet junk for the outage. Others were furious, saying they couldn't even work or contact anyone. Then someone wrote, The main fiber trunk runs right under her fence line. That's when my suspicion turned into certainty. I grabbed my small inspection camera and headed down the sidewalk, following the fiber route toward her house. Near the base of her rose garden, I spotted it, a neat little trench recently filled, the soil still soft. I knelt down, brushed away some of the dirt, and there it was, the thick orange fiber conduit, sliced open, with strands sticking out like hair after a bad haircut. My heart sank and burned at the same time. This wasn't an accident. This was intentional. I didn't yell. I didn't even knock on her door. I just pulled out my phone and started taking photos, every inch of the damage, every tool mark, every clue that showed someone had been here recently. Then I traced the conduit back toward the main utility hub, another 60 feet, and documented the entire path. When I called the police non-emergency line, I could almost hear the dispatcher's disbelief. Wait, you're saying someone cut the neighborhood's internet? Not someone. I think the HOA president did, I replied. My voice steady, but my pulse racing. They sent out an officer within the hour. When he arrived, I walked him through everything, from my server logs to the fiber conduit, and even Margaret's public post. He leaned over, looked at the clean slice in the line, and whistled. That's no accident. That's a professional cut. Right then, Margaret stepped outside, pruning shears in hand, pretending to mind her roses. She smiled that polite, tight-lipped smile. Is there a problem here? She asked, voice dripping with innocence. The officer glanced between us. Ma'am, do you happen to know anything about this damage to the fiber line? Her smile froze. I have no idea what you're talking about. I showed him the time-stamped photos, the Facebook post, and the property map. Her face went pale. Well, she finally stammered, that cable shouldn't have been running under my yard in the first place. It's violating HOA landscaping rules. The officer's eyebrow shot up. So you're admitting you knew it was there? She didn't answer, just turned on her heel and stormed back inside. I couldn't help but let out a slow breath. I'd been patient for months, enduring the HOA's petty rules and letters. But this? Cutting the neighborhood's network because she didn't like how it looked underground? That crossed a line. By that evening, the utility company arrived. The tech examined the damage, shook his head, and said exactly what I expected to hear. This wasn't random. Someone deliberately cut this line. You're lucky it didn't cause a fire. He filed an official damage report, naming sabotage as the likely cause. That word changed everything. The HOA wasn't dealing with a minor complaint anymore. It was now part of a criminal investigation. And as I stood there, watching the repair team work under the setting sun, one thought kept running through my mind. She really thought she could get away with it, but she just didn't know who she was dealing with. By the time the sun dipped below the rooftops, the neighborhood was still offline and tempers were boiling. The police had left to file their initial report. The utility crew was working slowly under flashlight beams, and Margaret's blinds stayed tightly shut. I sat on my porch steps with my laptop open, running diagnostics through a backup hotspot. Nothing worked. Every test came back the same. Fiber severed, upstream connection lost. That's when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Sergeant Cole, the officer who'd inspected the cut earlier. We just got a call from the local police station. Their systems went down too. You think it's connected? My stomach dropped. The main line I'd traced didn't just feed the neighborhood, it also linked to the small police substation down the road. That meant Margaret hadn't just cut off my business or the HOA's Wi-Fi. She'd potentially interrupted a public service line. Yeah, I texted back. It's the same trunk. If I can reroute the backup link, I might be able to get them online temporarily, Cole replied. Can you really do that? Technically, I said, half grinning to myself. It's legal. Adjacent. I went into my garage, fired up Lucy, my server, now running on a patched power source. I connected into the emergency interface that was supposed to be for testing only. Using my admin access from past projects, I found a dormant network path labeled FedNet-Cont. East. I remembered what it was, a federal continuity link meant for emergency rerouting during disasters. It wasn't exactly public use, but it was designed for critical infrastructure, and right now, this was as critical as it got. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a moment. I could almost hear my grandfather's voice in my head. Do the right thing, even if it's not the easy one. So I did. I rerouted the police network through Lucy's redundant uplink and piggybacked the neighborhood's main node. The entire system flickered, then blinked green. The line came back alive. I checked the substation's connection logs, data flowing. Then the first texts came in from my neighbors. Internet's back? Whatever you did, thank you. Even the police dispatcher texted Sergeant Cole. Comms restored. You're a lifesaver, I leaned back, exhaling. For the first time all day, things were calm again. But I knew the calm wouldn't last long. The next morning, Cole showed up with 2 officers and a tech inspector. They were here to confirm the fiber damage for the official report. I tagged along, pretending to be just another concerned homeowner. When they reached the site near Margaret's yard, the inspector crouched down and nodded. This cut was made with precision tools. Somebody knew what they were doing. Cole looked up at Margaret's house. And someone who didn't think we'd trace it. Right on cue, the front door opened. Margaret stepped out, sunglasses on, holding a clipboard like it was a shield. I hope you're not digging up my roses again, she said coldly. Cole kept his tone even. Ma'am, we're investigating intentional damage to a public utility line. We just need to ask a few questions, she scoffed. Intentional? That's ridiculous. The HOA had every right to what? I interrupted. Cut through city property? Her eyes snapped toward me. You again. You've been harassing me since yesterday. Cole turned to her calmly. Actually, ma'am, this gentleman's the one who provided the evidence that helped us restore the police station's communication system. Her jaw clenched. The police station? That's right, Cole said. Your little landscaping project cut through their line, too. The color drained from her face. The tech inspector stepped in with photos from my report, printed and time-stamped. This is your fence line, correct? She didn't answer. Ma'am, we're going to need you to come with us to answer a few questions at the station, Cole said gently. I didn't. This is a misunderstanding, she stammered. That line shouldn't have been there. It's not even compliant with HOA regulations. Cole's voice softened but stayed firm. The state doesn't answer to the HOA, ma'am, and just like that, the woman who'd spent months terrorizing the neighborhood over mailbox heights and lawn shades was suddenly speechless, standing beside her rose bushes while an officer read her rights. She wasn't handcuffed, not yet, but it was clear. She was in trouble. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just stood quietly, watching as justice finally caught up. It took a week for the ISP to finish permanent repairs. They installed reinforced conduit, rerouted the line, and upgraded the junction box, this time with a lock and a bright orange authorized access only sign. The HOA? They tried to stay quiet, but the news spread faster than fiber. By the second day, someone had leaked the body cam footage from the police response. The internet loved it. Margaret's dramatic denial became a meme, complete with captions like, "When your Wi-Fi crime goes public," and HOA Karen meets it guy of justice. Some neighbors started calling me Tech, Batman. Others just brought over cookies as a thank you. The HOA board held an emergency vote. Margaret resigned due to personal reasons, which everyone knew was code for got caught being ridiculous. I fixed Lucy's systems, rerouted my business network, and everything ran smoother than before. But that week left me with a different kind of perspective. You spend your life thinking technology is just wires and lights, data and code. But when those cables go dark, you realize how much of your world runs on trust, and how fast that trust can break when power, in any form, is abused. That night, as I sat on the porch watching the neighborhood glow again with Wi-Fi lights and streaming sounds, I thought about everything that had happened. One person's ego had shut down an entire block. But a bit of knowledge and a lot of patience, we brought it all back. Sometimes it's not the loud heroes who fix things. It's the quiet ones, the ones who just know how to make things work. So yeah, that's how my HOA president ended up facing charges for sabotaging the neighborhood's internet, and how my hobby server accidentally became a lifeline. For the police department, I didn't set out to be the hero. I just wanted my Wi-Fi back, but sometimes your side projects and your persistence end up doing more good than you realize. If there's one thing I learned, it's this. Never underestimate what you can do with a bit of patience, proof, and purpose. And remember, sometimes your hobby can save more than your paycheck. Pause beat. If you enjoyed that story, make sure to stick around, because next time, I'll tell you how my backup generator turned into the center of another HOA showdown. Subscribe. You're not going to want to miss that one.